G'day guys and gal. Primarch duels were always a massive highlight of the Horus Heresy, not only because it was the closest thing we got to anime tier action in 40k, but it also showed off the strengths and weaknesses of each Primarch, as well as gave us somewhat of a comparison between them. However, no Primarchs fought each other more than the Lion and Konrad. These two brothers kicked the shit out of each other on multiple occasions. Sometimes the Lion won, sometimes Konrad did, so it begs the question, who is actually the superior warrior? With Christmas and the end of the year coming up, there's two things you need to consider. What gifts are you getting your loved ones, and what version of yourself do you want to bring into 2025? Fortunately, I've got your back in both these big questions as I'm partnering up with Geology for this video. Geology is skincare that works. A, because it actually uses scientifically backed ingredients that actually create visible improvements in your skin, and B, it keeps the routine simple and extremely easy to follow. If you're not currently doing a skincare routine, you are severely capping your hotness rating and likely aging worse than you should be. Acne, oily, discolored, or dry skin are not things you just have to cop. They are all things that can be reduced or completely eliminated with skincare. All you gotta do is fill out Geology's quick survey, then bam, a custom skincare routine will be sent to your door. This is how my skin used to look years ago, when theoretically I should look my youngest and cleanest. I was oily as and had bags under my eyes. These days my skin is way better thanks to Geology. Geology isn't just skincare though, they have a range of nice smelling natural body washes, shampoos, and deodorants that smell unreal. So to get a massive 70% off your first skincare package, as well as an additional 50% off a product of your choice, then use my link below, the QR code on screen, or code Majorkill70. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over each of the Lion and Konrad's Primarch duels, detailing the setup, what happened and who won, to determine which of them truly is the greater warrior. Also, I know the Burning Hand of Vengeance, the model of 2024, was supposed to be permanently out of stock yesterday, but I got a few DMs and emails about payments just kicking in and extensions, so we're doing a final 48-hour extension for the Burning Hand of Vengeance model, then it's gone. This is your final chance. If you think at any point in your life you'll want this insane model, now is your last chance. I don't think I'll bring it back due to how hard it is to produce, so final 48 hours starts now. Oh, let's get into it. So for some context about why these two Primarchs have fought each other more than Israel in the entirety of the Middle East, when the heresy kicked off, Horus was extremely concerned about the Lion and the Dark Angels, so he ordered them into the corner of the galaxy and then he sent the Night Lords down to slow them. I say slow down, not destroy deliberately here. The Night Lords were fantastic at hit and run and skirmishing, avoiding direct battles, so would be perfect in slowing down the Dark Angels. These skirmishing wars would be called the Thramas Crusade and would bring the Lion and Curze into direct conflict time and time again. To follow this up, Curze would end up on Macragge, the same world as the Lion, during the events of Imperium Secundus. So once again, they had many opportunity to punch on. But let's get more specific. Konrad was a crazy bastard, but he wasn't retarded. He knew that a direct full-on fight with the Dark Angels was a one-way ticket to getting anal raped, so instead the Night Lords used hit and run tactics to delay and confuse the Dark Angels. It was more or less a stalemate. However, Curze has a flair for the dramatic and he got bored, so he offered a parlay to the Lion. They met on a world, the Lion and two of his champions, which included the legendary Curze, with Curze having two of his own, which included the legendary Sevatar. At first, the brothers were cordial with each other, but Curze is unhinged and the Lion has a massive temper and next to zero patience for bullshit. So after Curze mocked him one too many times, the Lion stabbed him and the two engaged in a vicious brawl. Not so much of a duel as it was a bar fight. In return, the champions of each side also fought. Now the Lion can and has gotten his hands dirty. Not every battle he has fought has been an honourable sword fight, but a spastic punch on grapple favoured the more unhinged, erratic Curze. So after a struggle, Curze got the upper hand and began choking the life out of the Lion. Curze had two options, fight alongside his brother and try to kill the Night Lord champions, or go save the Lion. He chose to save the Lion, leaving his other Dark Angel brother to face the two Night Lords alone and be slain. Curze reached the Primarchs and shoved his sword into Curze's spine, causing the Night Haunter to seizure and then be wounded. Both sides then dragged their raging Primarchs to safety as the Thramas Crusade continued. Despite the brawlish nature of this fight, I still say it counts, and yes, the winner was Curze, despite him coming off second best due to having a big ass sword shoved into his back. If it wasn't for Curze's intervention, the Lion very well may have died, so point 1 goes to Curze. Now both sides were even more pissed off. However, Curze continued to elude the Lion in order to avoid all-out conflict, so the Lion had to think outside the box. He learnt of a special warp device called the T'Challa engine that had the ability to bypass a lot of rules when it came to warp travel, which would give the Lion a massive edge, so he intervened on a battle between traitor Deathguard and some loyalists, spanked both sides, then took the T'Challa engine for himself. See, a massive issue with fighting Konrad is that as Konrad can see the future, he knows knows where the Dark Angels will appear and when, so he could avoid all their ambushes while springing his own. However, the T'Challa engine was powerful enough to bypass Konrad's foresight. Hence the Lion used it to warp jump his fleet right on top of the Night Lords. The Dark Angels' element of surprise combined with their greater Legion strength devastated the Night Lords, with the Lion and Konrad engaging in another duel. This time it was on the Lion's terms. He had blade in hand and Konrad got his cheeks spread hard. Konrad suffered 11 wounds that would have been fatal to a Space Marine and entered into a coma, before his men were able to disengage and flee, their borderline dead Primarch in tow. Curze was seriously fucked up from this one-sided fight. It took a lot of effort to heal him and wake him up, so round 2 definitely goes to the Lion. Just as Curze was waking up, the Lion used the T'Challa engine to ambush the Night Lords once again, killing a massive chunk of their Legion. Sevatar, who was in de facto command due to Curze's injuries, came up with a solid counter-attack plan. However, Curze was like, Leroy Jenkins, and he went straight for round 3 with the Lion, ruining Sev's plan. Sev rallied to his Primarch, and round 3 between Curze and the Lion would kick off as the Night Lord Legion was devastated and scattered. As the battle was lost for the Night Lords, Curze abandoned his duel with the Lion and fled into the bows of the Dark Angel flagship, abandoning his men to be captured or killed, including Sevatar. Although there was no clear winner of round 3, since Curze was the one that fled, we will give it to the Lion, making this a 2 wins to the Lion, 1 win to Konrad situation. Konrad was extremely elusive. All search teams sent for him were killed, with the Lion himself eventually going to hunt his brother. Once again, Curze's foresight made him extremely difficult to track. However, amazingly, the Lion did actually sneak up on his brother. He drew his sword quietly and was about to leap off a ledge and end Konrad's life with a single blow. However, his Vox speed crackled and made the tiniest of noises, which was enough to alert Konrad, who then fled. The Lion would journey to Macragge and attempt to keep Konrad a secret from Guilliman. However, the Night Haunter could not be ignored and he went full terrorist mode on Macragge, eventually baiting Guilliman and the Lion to him in a 2v1. Now, Konrad actually held his own here pretty well. Neither the Lion nor Guilliman could strike him down, which does make you wonder just how powerful Curze was. However, this was on Curze's terms. They were in a dark, shadowy room and Curze was actually using the 2 of them to his advantage, as they kept getting in each other's way in their attempt to strike their brother. Now, the lore doesn't specifically state it, but since Guilliman is a notoriously shit Primarch duelist, I believe he may have been getting in the Lion's way, stopping the Lion from actually fucking up Curze. Curze then detonates a bunch of explosives to collapse the building with the intention of crushing his 2 brothers. This would have worked, however plot armor kicked in and Dantiok was able to teleport both loyalist Primarchs to safety using the Faros device. However, this is definitely a huge dub for Konrad, who held off 2 Primarchs and nearly killed them, bringing the tally to 2-2. The Lion and Konrad would have one last fateful duel. This one would be a true decider, just brother versus brother, both armed, both armored, both having taken the measure of the other. They go to town on each other. Now, Konrad's strength is how much of a spaz he is in battle combined with his foresight. You never know what he's going to do and he can see everything you're going to do. However, the Lion is such an insane duelist that his ability and instinct allows him to counter this. When the Lion fights, it's not a conscious thing. His body becomes the weapon and he enters a flow state. Konrad will foresee a strike by the Lion. He will counter based on his vision. The Lion will then subconsciously counter the counter, invalidating Konrad's vision, and then he will land the blow. The fight continues like this until Konrad is beaten down and is at the Lion's mercy. However, for some reason, everyone is so fucking merciful to Konrad and I don't know why. Vulcan, the Lion, and Sanguinius have all had Konrad at their mercy and they've all decided to let him live because they didn't want to stoop to his level or some shit, or something about brotherly bonds, but bruh, Primarchs blow up worlds for breakfast and everyone fucking hates Curze. But alas, the Lion could not slay him, so instead he picked his ass up and snapped his back over his knee, Bane style, turning Konrad into a temporary paraplegic before then bringing him to Sanguinius and Guilliman for judgment. This was a clear, clean-cut dub for the Lion and their final duel, bringing the overall tally to 3 wins to the Lion, 2 wins to Konrad. Fucking wild that there was 5 Primarch fights between them. We're lucky to see 2 between Primarchs, like with how it went with Ferris and Fulgrim or the Khan and Mortarion. But 5, oh baby. So it's clear that in a straight up fair fight, the Lion was superior. Both fights that involved a clean duel ended in a decisive Lion victory. The first brawl that Konrad got the upper hand on does seem like it should also fall under a fair straight up fight duel. However, the Lion was completely taken by surprise by Konrad's spazziness and ferocity. He knew Konrad was a cooked unit, but the Lord of the Night really became unhinged during the heresy and no one would expect that level of intensity. After the first encounter, the Lion knew what to expect so he could face it. Konrad winning the 2v1 against the Lion and Guilliman was also based more on Konrad luring them to an advantageous fighting area and using Guilliman as a bit of a wildcard to stop the Lion from properly engaging. Also, if that fight kept dragging on, eventually the 2 Primarchs would have overwhelmed Konrad and beaten him. This definitely isn't a knock on Konrad though. The Lion was recognized as the best Primarch duelist and swordsman. No one wanted to fuck with him and he was seen as the older brother Primarch by many. Konrad was also feared by many loyalist Primarchs, including Dorn and Russ. Feared might not be the right word, but they definitely saw him as a serious opponent. But yeah, wild to see 5 Primarch fights, definitely worth chatting about. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Burning Hand of Vengeance. Last 48 hours, then he's gone. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more epic content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.